Hey coaches, Coach Kempton here with SouthernChillFootball.com and System Overload. Happy holidays to you guys. Not sure when we're going to publish this video log, but just got done watching the Bucks beat the Vikings. Huge win for the Bucks. And want to wish you guys all happy holidays and excited to do our first video log. Doing it here from my home in sunny Sarasota, Florida. So what I wanted to talk about today, guys, was to kind of start things off with our first vlog is the characteristics that we look for in the 3-3 stack by position. Now, whether you're a high school coach, a college coach, a Pop Warner coach, I've been running this system. I've run it at the high school level, I've run it at the college level for 8 years, run it at the semi-pro level, so had a lot of different type of players that we fit into the scheme. So there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat. So if you're a high school guy, I don't want this to come across as, well, I can't recruit guys to fit that. So we've done it with high school guys. We've done it, like I said, with college guys. So what I'm going to try to do is give you, the characteristic that we look for in each position, regardless of what level you're at. That's the thing. I think there's some specific things that personally I look for with the players and how you fit them in to the 3-3 stack scheme, and also tying it into the 46 bear. So let's get started, and I will start off with our defensive line. We're nose guard and 2 defensive ends. So we'll start off with our nose guard. Now our nose guard, here's the number one thing that I would want in a nose guard. He is the only true defensive lineman in our scheme. And the number one thing that I would look for in that guy is a wrestler. I want a guy there. Some of our best nose guards have been wrestlers. They understand leverage. They're great on their feet. They're great with their hands. Now we've played with different size guys. Okay, so we've played at the college level with a 5'10", 250-pound nose guard. We've also played with a 300-pound nose guard. We've also played with a 220-pound nose guard. So it all depends on what you have there. But the one characteristic that we've always had at that position is a guy who understands leverage, is great on his feet, and is great with his hands. Now you can move those guys a lot, or you can hunker that guy down in there if he's a big guy. But that's what we really like there is in the ideal world it would be a big heavyweight wrestler is in the ideal world. But if you got a smaller guy that's quick and you can with all the blitzing that we do, you can put him on the move a lot, then that'll work too. But in my ideal world, I want a heavyweight wrestler at that position, at nose guard. You can do a lot of things with that. All right. Our 2 defensive ends, our Viper and our Anchor. Now we've done a lot of different things here with these guys as well. The Viper is generally the guy that deploys to our call side. So we're a field-based team. So if the ball's on the upright or into the boundary, we're making a field call and he's going to the field. The Viper, the Anchor's going into the boundary. Now we've also had a tight end, open end side guy. So we've moved those guys around. We've played left and right. Ideally, what you're looking for in the defensive ends, in my opinion, is length and athletic ability. You want guys that are good off the edge, have a little bit enough lead in their ass to be able to, play the C-gap and stop the run. You can tweak those guys a little bit. A lot of times, we'll put our more athletic player of the 2 defensive ends at the Viper position and put him to the field because he's in a little bit more space. And we'll put a little bit bigger, thicker guy as the Anchor into the boundary. A lot of times you're going to get 3-man surfaces into the boundary. and you're going to get detached two-man surfaces to the field. Again, not all the time, but generally you're going to get a little bit more of that, and teams are going to want to run the ball into the boundary, into the three-man surface, and move the pocket and do some of that stuff to the field. So we might start off with our Viper being a little bit more of the athletic player, and our anchor a little bit more of the thicker run stop, a three-man surface guy. If you're getting a lot of pure three-man surface, two-man surface, and you want to send one of your guys, he's a thicker guy, you want to send him always to the tight end, you can do that too. You don't always have to deploy the Viper and anchor to the field. You can flip those guys and go tight and open. So some of those things you can do that, but as a general rule, that's what we're looking for. Looking for length and long arms, guys that come off the edge and be a mismatch for offensive tackles. So that's our defensive line. Stay inside with our three inside linebackers, our Sam, our Mike, and our Outlaw, our three stack linebackers in the 3-3 stack. Our Mike linebacker is our true inside linebacker. He's going to be a box guy all the time. When we're in the 46, he's never going to come out of the box. So he's going to be your downhill, bigger, thicker, true inside linebacker. That's where you're going to put the Mike. And then you got your Sam and your Outlaw. Sam's going to go deploy to the field. Outlaw is going to deploy to the boundary. So you got your space issues again with those two players. So again, of the three linebackers, we're going to put our most athletic linebacker at the Sam linebacker position, because he's going to be a little bit more in space. He's going to have some three vertical stuff that he's going to have to deal with. He's going to get detached a little bit. So he's going to be a little bit more of the athletic. We've honestly, with the Outlaw, we've hid some guys in that position. We've put some smaller guys that just love to run and hit in there, and you'd be surprised how many tackles that weak side stack linebacker makes in this defense. When one of the years I was at college, we were running it, and we had a real undersized, a 5'9", 180-pound kid playing Outlaw, and he was second on our team in tackles. Sometimes it's tough to get to that guy. So he's not going to be as detached as much, because he's going to be in the boundary the majority of the time, so space isn't as much of an issue. So as far as those three guys go, the most athletic space awareness guy is going to be the Sam. Your truest inside linebacker is going to be at the Mike, and then depending on what you have, the Outlaw is really a guy that you can play with an undersized guy, you can play with a bigger, thicker guy in there. So that's kind of the spot where your third best linebacker is going to go. Okay, so now let's go outside to our down safeties, our Rover and our Will. Our Rover, the man, the best football player that you have needs to be your Rover. He's going to be to the field all the time. He's going to be in coverage. He's going to blitz. He's got to be able to play in space. You're looking for length. You're looking for athletic ability. You're looking for a kid that can run. But I really like a taller, you're looking for a safety, kind of a free safety guy that, will blitz off the edge, got a little bit of, aggression to him, length to be able to cover space out there. He's got to be your dude. He's got to be the guy, okay? So that's definitely where we're going to put our best football player, is at the Rover. The Will, again, he's going to be a boundary guy, so he's going to be in a space. Now, once in a while, if you're going to play any of our, too high stuff that, split field coverage, where we're going to roll the boundary corner up and play half field in the boundary and play some quarters type stuff to the field, the Will linebacker is going to be the guy that's going to spin back and be a half field player into the boundary. But again, it's into the boundary, so you don't have as much stress on him as you do the rover out in space. So he can be a guy that maybe is a little bit thinner linebacker, that doesn't quite run well enough to play safety, free safety, or your rover. But we blitz that guy a lot. At least I do, depending on what you guys do. But I bring that guy a lot from the boundary in a lot of different ways. So he's got to be an aggressive. He's got to be a good blitzer. Got to be a good player, but not the same as the rover. Okay. All right. So that's our second level guys. Now we'll go to the back end. Our two corners. We've done a bunch of different things here. So we've played right and left. We've played field and boundary. Again, tying into what we do there. If you're going to play field and boundary, obviously you want your more athletic player to be the field corner, and then you got your boundary corner that you can roll up a little bit and doesn't have as much space in there. Here's the thing for me in our scheme, because we don't play a lot of man coverage. We play a lot of one high, three deep stuff. I like big corners. I don't like little guys in this scheme at corners. I'd rather take a 6 foot, 6'1" kid that might not run as well, because you're going to play with a lot of cushion. A kid that can transition pretty well, but doesn't necessarily have to be a pure man cover guy. But as far as playing the deep ball, he's got some length to him. He's got some height. He can jump. Good ball skills are critical for those guys. But I prefer bigger corners in our scheme. Always have, always will. It's just what my preference is. Doesn't mean that it's right, but it's just what I would prefer. I'd prefer to have bigger guys out there. And again, you can flip those guys, field and boundary, right and left, however you want to do it. There's no right or wrong answer to that. It's whatever works for you. But that's what I look for in that. And then finally, the free safety. It's got to be the general, probably your smartest football player, the center fielder, on the baseball team. I wouldn't say point guard of the basketball team, because those guys are generally a little bit shorter. Again, I like the length back there, because he's going to be, playing in the middle of the field a lot. He's got to come down in a lot of our blitz packages and cover up a number 2 or a number 3 receiver. He's going to come down in the box when we get in bear. So in my opinion, that guy is right next to the rover as far as talent-wise goes. Rover is going to be your best player. Your free safety is going to be your number 2 best player. Now, that's kind of eliminating the D-line out of it, because you might have a great defensive lineman as your best football player, but obviously he's not going to fit in the back end. So as far as your skill players go, your rover is going to be your best skill player. Your free safety is going to be your second best skill player. And ideally, you're looking for length in both those guys that can cover a lot of ground, that have great ball skills, that are tough, that'll come down in the box and will hit you. So that's personnel in the 3-3 stack. That's what I look for. And I hope that answers some questions that you guys have about the personnel. And again, wish you guys, you and your families, happy holidays, and look forward to our next vlog session and having you guys join on with System Overload. GATA, happy holidays.